Happy release day. This is, I think this is walk number 4 already. So we're doing it. We're doing it. I'm gonna wait for some people to get in. We have another topic today. All right. Let's see. Usually we have Tiffany in here. We have Thorn in here. Yesterday we had Atlas. So yesterday we had a great discussion. Hopefully that wind isn't messing everything up. Yesterday we had a great discussion on writing lyrics. The day before that on how to start a band. So if you're watching this, we just released our song, the Saints in Exile song. Good won't get you in today, featuring our boy Cutright. So that's exciting. Of course, it just got super windy, which I know is going to make things difficult to hear. But again, I'm just going to wait a minute for some people to pop in. If not, this is going to be a quick one. We got two people in here. Who's here? Say hi. So, if the weather's nice, I'm going to be trying to do these walk and talks every day. Just say hello to the people in exile with us out. Lost one. What up? What up, Crystalie? Did you get a chance to hear the new song today? Good won't get you in. If you are a new person watching this, my name is Justin. I'm a vocalist in the band Saints in Exile. We make indie pop rock with a little bit of hip-hop influences, or a lot of it. We like to have fun, and we invite all of our fans along on the journey. You guys rock. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, check out this shirt. If you're a big fan of Thrice, it is the album Signal or Symbol on the Alchemy Index album covers. Thrice is probably my favorite band. Okay, so I think there's a couple people in here. So our first topic that we were talking about was how to start a band. The second one was how to write lyrics. This one is going to be about preparing for a show, which is something that we're doing. So Saints in Exile will be playing their first ever show on May 21st. And fortunately for us, maybe unfortunately, it's going to be 4 songs that are going to be filmed for a TV show. It's going to be on local TV where we are, and it's also going to be on YouTube, so you all can watch it. But some of the big issues that we have is we're a band that only has 3 people, and one of the people, me, doesn't play anything. So how will we play a show live? Well, there's lots of things you can do. I mean, for one, 21 Pilots only has 2 people, and they managed to do everything with, they plug things in, they have things playing through the PA. So we're going to be doing that, but we also asked 2 of our friends to come along on this journey with us to play a show. But here's the thing, those 2 friends, and I spoke about them a little on the first video this week. Yes, you will be able to see it. Spoke about them a little bit. They aren't in the band. They weren't involved in the songwriting process. And hey, what's up? Weren't involved in the songwriting process. And they're not in the band. So some of the challenges is getting those 2 people up to speed on songs that they had no part in creating. So about 2 weeks ago, we met at a rehearsal space out where we live. You know, we let them know the 4 songs beforehand. We gave them some, notes and the lyrics and the files and all that so they can practice. And then live, we got together and, we just had to work through what it would be like to sound live. But even the 3 of us in the band, Manny, Mike, and myself, Justin, we've never played these songs live together either. So it's figuring out like the dynamics, the timing, the energy, and the chemistry that we also have with each other, because we're all playing music live for the first time together. Previously, I've been in bands, and so have Mike and Manny, where we may have practiced a song 50 to 100 times or more live, like practicing before we even played it live. So these songs, we all knew each other. Everyone knew what they were supposed to be doing. We don't have that luxury. We only have like 4 practices to get together. Maybe it was a dinosaur. So yeah, luckily for us, they're friends. The chemistry was great. Everyone is a professional, so everything sounded good. So the more we play, which will be like 2 or 3 more times, the tighter as a unit we're going to sound, which is awesome. So those are some of the challenges in doing a live show, especially for us, where it's just like we have to find the right people, and then we have to get to a level of, does this sound good, and do we gel? And sorry, it's super loud. Do we gel and mesh together well? And that's something that's always a fear. I played with my last band for about 12 years, 11 years. We played over 100 shows together. I would say we had well over 1,000 practices and rehearsals together. Maybe 1,500 times that we were in a room for hours just playing the songs together. We knew them inside and out. Everyone knew what they were doing. We knew what it was going to sound like live because we played them live. We don't have that. We don't have that luxury anymore. So that's one of the difficulties, especially now. We're older too. Everyone's working. Everyone has family, careers. I don't have at my parents' house had a basement. We had a band room. We could practice for free for like 6 hours if we wanted to. Now we got to pay for things. So I don't have that space anymore. So that's probably one of the challenges. But I think for anyone who's watching and is asking the question, like, how do you prepare live? Like, I'm in a band and I'm afraid to play live or do things live. That's it. You want to make sure things sound tight, that everybody's playing at the same tempo. You don't want someone playing faster or slower. Generally, I feel like when you play songs live, they usually wind up faster than the recording, especially if you're not using a click track. But that's okay, because you're supposed to have a lot of energy, I feel like, when you play. And that energy that you're not going to necessarily get in the studio. There's nothing like playing music live and then seeing people react to what you're playing, especially if they know the songs and they're singing it back to you and they're reacting. So unfortunately, we're not going to have that on our first show. We're not going to have anybody singing or playing back to us, or giving us feedback, because it's more so like a recording session. So that kind of stinks, but we're getting out there and we're trying it out and we're doing a thing. So that's exciting. But again, for anyone trying to play live, you don't want to play live until you're ready. My biggest fear, and I'm very infamous for doing this, is forgetting my lyrics and forgetting the words. So I have to remember the words. That's a lot. Good thing is, we're not too famous, so nobody really knows the words if I mess them up or say something wrong. But again, you gotta know the guitar parts, the bass parts, the drum parts, the piano parts. Everything has to sync together. So unless that you feel like, you're at that point with the band where everything sounds key, I would avoid playing live shows. And then once you play one, if everything goes well, and more often than not, things don't go well, it's just, and going well in terms of like things beyond your control, right? Like maybe the PA stinks, you can't hear yourself in the microphone, there's no monitors, an amp breaks, the drums fall apart. Like I've had all these things happen to me. The venue gets shut down, someone mixes up the time. As long as you know and you can execute and perform the things that are within your control, then you're ready to go. And even when things get out of your control, it's kind of staying focused with doing that. More often than not, you're playing at a place that doesn't have good sound. So you need to be tight enough and good enough with the band to whereas if you can't hear where everyone else is at, you still know where you're supposed to be. Like I could still hear the drum part here, so I know that I'm supposed to go there. I could still hear the guitar, or I could just hear Justin and I know where he's at in the song, so I can keep doing what I'm doing. So you got to be able to get to that point. Let's see. It's so hard to get everyone to really gel and solidify. Remember though, we won't notice the mistakes like you will. We're just going to enjoy it. Yeah, I appreciate that. And that's so true. There's so many little things that you might think about. And you're like, oh my God, this drives me crazy. And nobody cares or notices. No one has any idea. And if you're at the point where people do recognize that, then we're doing extremely well for ourselves, right? If someone comes up to me and is like, hey, you said the wrong word here, or the guitar part that you just did was kind of off, that's actually pretty awesome, because that means there's enough people that follow us and care to let us know that, hey, you guys messed up, or I noticed you guys did something different. There are like the recordings now that we have of Saints in Exile. Like I'll hear things and I'm like, man, I wish I didn't do it that way, or I don't like that. But to everyone else, that's the normal song, right? That's how Justin did it. That's how Mike did it. So they like it. Like the song that dropped today, there's a couple of things that I don't necessarily love that I did. And I tried a bunch of different things and I did the best I can do. Sometimes the best you, excuse me, sometimes the best you can do is still not great or perfect, but I did the best I can do. So certain things will bother me. Even Cutright, the guest vocalist on the song, there's something on his verse that he doesn't like. And we may actually try to correct it on the sneak. See if anybody notices. But yeah, these things happen. I'm in a band and it's so true. Yeah, absolutely. The biggest part is chemistry, honestly. You could be a band that's not that great, or an artist that's, their music's, it's whatever. But if you put on a memorable performance, holy cow, like people are never going to forget that. I'm not the best singer. I'm not the best rapper. But what I was really good at for many years was being a really good, energetic, and entertaining frontman. So I might not give you the best thing that you're ever going to hear as a vocalist, but you're going to have fun at my show. You're going to remember that I gave my all. And that's really important too, the stage presence and the stage performance. No one wants to be bored. Everyone, if they're investing time and money and driving and going to see you, that people want to be entertained. And at the end of the day, that's what music is entertainment and an escape from everyday life. The Runaways were legendary, largely do that. Yeah. I almost feel like if I go and see an artist and I'm like, oh, their live show, they sounded exactly like the album. I don't know if that's good, because then I could have just listened to the album, right? I would love to hear the dynamics, the differences of what things sound like live. Now, of course, you don't want to be like, oh, they must have done a lot of studio magic because this person's voice is like a 10 out of 10 on the album, but live, he's actually, or she is actually, they sing like a 2 out of 10. That's not really what I'm talking about here, because there's plenty of those where these people aren't actually that talented or able to do some of the things they do, but thanks to good old studio magic, they sound amazing. But I'm more so talking about like the the tempo, the feeding off of each other. Are there certain things they do live that like sound really cool in a live setting that you might not even notice on the album? Like, atmospheric stuff, like sometimes keyboards or synth, some like background noises or even bass sometimes gets really lost in the mix because you're listening for the lyrics and the melodies and all of that. But then live, you actually feel that boom, 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 like the thumping of the bass, right? You hear that atmospheric presentation that the synth or the piano brings to the song. It really turns everything around. It changes the entire dynamics of a song in a live setting, and that's what I'm interested in. That's what I'm interested. All right. So, does anyone have any specific questions? Some things we can dive into. Like, I haven't, truthfully myself, like I haven't played a show since June of 2019. I've been itching to play a show for a very long time. It was my favorite thing to do, was to play a show and crowd surf and jump around. I don't know if I'll be doing that now. I'm kind of old. I'll probably do it if the if the time is right. But like, man, all of these, man, it's such a rush. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. I'm gonna turn around just because it's super noisy over here. But you know, for certain people who play like every week, like Mike plays a lot of different things with like cover bands, and Manny's done the same over the course of the last few years. So it's like, all right, cool. It's playing a show. But we haven't all played together, so there's a different excitement there. But for me, who did it from I don't know 2008 to 2019, where I was playing sometimes over the course of that span every other week, sometimes twice a week. I was playing shows, and now having not done it in almost 7 years, there's a lot of like happy nervousness, anxiety, little tension, but I'm ready to go, and I don't know what it's gonna be like, and it's so interesting to me. It's something I did for so long that I didn't even think about. Um, it's just something I haven't done. That was part of my life. So yeah, don't forget sunscreen. Mike, I'm good. I'm good, Mike. Um, Shout out to Mike from the band, Mike Aroni. Yeah, so it is exciting to definitely um, play a live show, and I think that's what separates a lot of bands or musicians and artists from everyone else. There's so many people nowadays. It's so easy to just make music and put it out from their bedroom, and you don't know how many times I encounter artists, more so in hip hop, where they have hundreds of thousands of streams, tens of thousands of streams, and they're like, oh, I've never played a show before, and it's like, what? That's crazy. Whereas back in my day, because I'm so old, back in my day, you played shows and you barely had any music out. Like, you would play maybe 50 shows, and then you would drop an album, and then you'd play a whole bunch of more shows, right? And you'd get that live feedback for every single song. And every time you played a new song, they'd be like, you'd be like, oh, the crowd reaction